on the other pointy part of the top of the continent. And so my travels took me back there to be adopted into a very famous performing arts family up there, Munyarian clan, and that's where I learned the tradition of this beautiful instrument. It began with humble beginnings. So the first thing a didge player does when he watches somebody at circular key is learn the buzzing lips like this one. The buzzing lips, put them on the end of this little stringy bark eucalyptus gum tree, and it translates to this one. So you get your first drone. If you put your lips a bit tighter together while you're making that one, it bends the sound up. If you open the lips up, it bends the sound down. Technically, in didgeridoo language, that's called lipping up and lipping down. Our Yiraki player, however, he plays with a pronounced language in the instrument, which all starts with using vocals all the time. You're singing in the instrument, you're talking in the instrument, yeah? So you've got to use deep vocals in buzzing lips. Becomes and that gives you the bass undertone of the instrument. You've got to use the highlights, the little calls, through high-pitched voice through buzzing lips. And the most important sound for a Yiraki player is what we call an overtone, like playing a trumpet or a bugle. And that's the most important sound. And then you put them all together, and you create your first song. The first thing I had to learn about was the oka. So when I sit with my Yolngu teachers in northeast Arnhem Land, this one here signifies that I'm learning from a distinct place on the continent, which is the homeland of the Iraqi, which is northeast Arnhem Land. Anybody familiar with that part of the world up there? A place called Maninguira and Elko Island, Galunku. That's right at the top of the other pointy part. That's where the concept of chopping over a little baby gum tree, hollowing it out further than the termites have already done, so you get your hollow tube, and creating one of the world's oldest aerophone instruments, began on this continent. So up there with the Yolngu people, they are the cultural custodians of this instrument. Anything else you see down at Circular Quay is a modern adaptation. So, I'm almost ready to play for you. I had to learn about the bilma. The bilma helps you understand the tempo. Sometimes it's a slow one, sometimes it's a medium one, sometimes it's a fast one, sometimes it's a tricky one. Depends what song you're playing. But the first song I was introduced to in the concept of advancing from just a 20-year-old Volt Harris sound to tongue talk is a song about water. We call this one Gapu. And so to arrive at this rhythm, I've got to learn how to do this one. Now that looks a bit weird when you're doing it with your mouth, but that's what you've got to do when you go to Iraqi school. That's just one song. There's a song for everything where the Iraqi comes from. Song for the bark on the tree, for the leaf on the tree, for the stand. Song for you, song for me, song for our aunties, our mothers, our fathers. Song for the wind that come from this way, the wind that come from this way. Song for everything. So the Iraqi player is a very important lad because there's one of them in each clan, and the chosen one gets all the girlfriends. So you're going to be able to remember all those cycles. But look, the technical stuff aside, people always, even after all that stuff, ask me to bring the Iraqi or the didgeridoo to the birthday parties and barbecues, entertain all the kids in the backyard while mum and dad go and have a red cordial inside. And I've been doing that for 10 years now. And for 10 years, people always ask, funnily enough, for one call, one bird call, one animal call, all the time, the same one. So I thought if I could be really fancy and make a kookaburra call, I could probably develop a whole repertoire to save myself from boring myself. So I'll wind up with this little bush puppet show I call the Aboriginal Bush Puppet Show. And we've got calls in here like the dingo. When the sun's going down at night time, you're going to hear the dingo. You're going to hear calls like a magpie, one of my favourites. The magpie got a cousin called a currawong. Every time it rains here, you can hear the rain bird. There's calls like cockatoo, one of my favourites. There's even calls from the emu. Do you know, during the cold time of year here in the bush, where the emus are now, that's the time when the emu boy goes and looks for an emu girlfriend. If you hear an emu boy calling out for an emu mate, you might hear this one. If the emu girl like the emu boy, she called back to him like this one. And then there's one more animal in this bag here. Deadly and dangerous one. Some people say, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Some people say he's deadly and dangerous. Some people say he's cute and cuddly. I guess it depends on who gets to know him. But we're going to speak a special language through the Iraqi as well. We're going to say something like this to you. Thank you very much. You've been a fantastic audience. Peace and solidarity to all.
Woo!
Thank you very much.
Solidarity to all.